Hey guys, it's Micah. It's been a while since I've made a video, and this time I'm not going to make one about stretching ears. So I'm going to talk about something that I'm really interested in, and I talk a lot about if you're friends with me on any social networking sites, and I'm really into religion. Not necessarily Christian or Satanism or anything like that, like in particular. I'm just like learning about all of them and how they interact with each other. And one thing that I really believe in a lot is that all religions of the world, like be it Christian or Muslim or especially the Christian, Muslim, and Jewish, the Judeo-Christian religions or Abrahamic religions, excuse me, as opposed to pagan religions or things like Buddhism and stuff. I think that all of them worship the same entity. And I do believe that there is some sort of entity. I don't know whether it's omniscient or an energy source, or whether it's something similar to Odin or Zeus, or whether it's something like the traditional Christian God or whatever. But I think that God just appears to everyone the way that it's most comfortable for their society. So if one society chooses a Christian God to be the most comfortable with, and that's what it comes to. It's almost kind of like in Ghostbusters when Zool tells them to pick something that's how he wants them to appear. Not saying that God is something that's going to come and destroy a city, but I mean it has before. And I also think that all religions have some sort of truth in it, whether it's like literal truth, like whether you literally believe in the Bible or the Quran, or whether you can use them as metaphors. Like you can definitely take parts of the Bible or parts of, like, say, Jesus' teachings and apply it to yourself the same way you can take anything else, like Native American folklore. Another thing that I believe in is spirits. I believe in like demons and angels. As some of you might know, I have another blog out there about shadow people. I'll do a whole another video about that. But I've had some experience with these things and taught a lot of people, and I'm trying to write a lot about it and figure more about it. But I think that there's some sort of, say, like, I guess what you would say, you call it demon. They definitely have malicious intents in general. There's also ones that are kind of like watchers. I believe they just kind of spirits that watch and observe, not necessarily to judge, but just there. I believe there's benevolent spirits, like I guess what you would call an angel, that are somewhere there to either maybe physically help or sometimes just emotionally or help. Maybe it's relatives, who knows. I also think there's these things, I call them vagrants. You've probably seen things like this in like movie like Sixth Sense, or there's beings that they're not alive anymore, and they don't really understand, or they won't accept that they're not alive anymore. And a lot of times I believe that they can also be mistaken for demons, and they attack people, be it physically maybe sometimes, or a lot of times they just scare people. And I think a lot of their goals is to be born through your children. Not necessarily that they can, but I think that's what they think they could do. Because I'll explain that more in another video. But anyway, another thing I'm really into is enlightenment and balance. I think you should know as much as you can about everything. When I get like a new camera, or I get into a new band, or whatever I'm going to get into, something that I'm learning about, I try to learn everything I can about it. And I try to learn everything I can about things that I don't know about. If somebody brings up a topic that I don't know about, I go and like look everything up I can. I'm not saying I'm going to be a expert on anything, but I like to know anything I can, especially becoming enlightened with your emotions and your inner self, so that like you can. Well, that's the thing I was talking about is balance. You can balance the good and the evil, and I think that good and bad and good and evil, positivity, negativity, are all good. You need some of it. You can't love without having hated, and you can't suffer without having felt good, and vice versa. So I think they're very important, and they're very good things to sometimes personify. That's which religion can do sometimes, kind of like with Kali. Kali is I wouldn't say she's considered by Hindus and such to be necessarily evil, but she's definitely a dark god. And whether you take her, think she's a physical being or not, she can represent the dark parts of your life that can really change you and alter you. And if you can overcome them, That doesn't mean that you either get rid of them completely or that you stop caring about them. It's that you know how to deal with them. So for instance, maybe you have some sort of crazy depression or something traumatic has happened. Instead of dwelling on it, you learn how to deal with it and maybe make positive things out of it. And at the same time, you don't want to take something good. This is how, like, say, drug addicts happen, or alcoholics, or anything. You want something too much that you like, and you end up ruining everything around you. So that's definitely something to look into. There's like right and left-hand path. A lot of people know about left-hand path. So definitely, try to enlighten yourself and know as much as you can, and try to overcome all of your emotions. The last thing I'm going to talk about is meditation. There's all kinds of different types of meditation. There's trance. A lot of people do that through music. I'm really into drone, so bands like Sono and things like that. They or a lot of techno as well. It doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily listen to it the way you would listen to music in the general like pop sense. You listen to it as a way to like create an atmosphere and to drown out every other thing. Another way to do it is sensory deprivation. That's blocking out noise and light and sound and everything. So that way you have just yourself. Time becomes completely irrelevant when you do sensory deprivation. And it's not that hard to do. A lot of people think you have to do things like in altered states, or you get in some sort of chamber, but no, you can get in a dark, or like, completely shut out all the light in your apartment, turn all the lights off, and just lay there and think. And sometimes, you can, a good thing that I like to do is try to set a time limit in your head. So, and it's kind of interesting. You'll go in there and you think you're in there for 30 minutes, and you've only been in there for 3 minutes. Or you could think you've been in there for hours and hours, and you've only been in there for 20 minutes, or vice versa sometimes. So you completely lose all sense, and that's a good thing. You can really commune with yourself and anything else. If you do believe in spirits or whatever, you can sometimes commune with those. Another way is, and sometimes you can do it with the music and with the sensory deprivation and meditation. You can do meditation with the yoga and all that. Is a séance. And you don't have to do the traditional, you get a Ouija board or candles and chant. You can do sensory deprivation, and you just focus on things. One really popular way is to have a mirror, like a full-length mirror. The idea is something large enough for you to be able to, or a being to be able to crawl out of, which is kind of scary. It could be good or bad. And you do the sensory deprivation. You have no sound, you have no light, and you just look at it and concentrate. Even though you can't see into the mirror, you just sit in it, usually in a tight, an enclosed space like a bathroom. Side note, make sure there's not a mirror behind you. This is if, you do believe in some sort of spirits. But, and it's really interesting. One cool thing is to get a few people to do it and not tell each other what you've seen until after you've all done it. And compare notes about what you've seen, because you will see something, whether you believe in spirits or not. Now, you could attest that you're seeing spirits, or that your mind is starting to play tricks on you. But you'll see something. And generally, a lot of people see the exact same thing. I'm not going to say, but you should definitely try it. So, questions or comments or anything, or ideas for new blogs, just let me know. And, bye.